I saw a video that somebody made talking about like a friendship experience of like two like kind of disappointing friendship experiences where like one person ghosted them and one person, I can't remember what it was, like couldn't be contacted or like, oh, I think it was canceled. One person ghosted and one person like canceled or rescheduled or something like that. And the creator was talking about like how disappointing this was and how like hurtful it was and stuff like that. And watching the video made me think of, like the loneliness epidemic, which is not like male specific, like it's more pronounced for males because for men because like they anyway. I won't get into all that. Speaking of psychology, the podcast has like a good episode on it. Like it was like a while back though. But anyway, it's for all genders. People are feeling lonelier, all genders. And I feel like certain aspects of like accepting yourself as like a weirdo or accepting the potential that you could be viewed as like a social outcast or yada yada yada, accepting that like I think makes people a little bit better at seeking friendship and seeking connection, in the sense that like building and maintaining friendships and like acquaintanceships will take moments that feel like, if you're like super like in your head about it or like down on yourself about it, there are moments where it will feel like you are begging for attention or asking somebody if they like you. And if you just make peace for the fact that, with the fact that like, which is why I mentioned like the weirdo piece, because for some people this is conceptualized as like being a weirdo, right? Like needing attention, needing these like things explicitly from people, but it's actually just like humanness, right? So I think we do a lot of stigmatizing of experiences that are just human. And so I think if you accept the potential stigmatization that goes with it and like confront that, then you have a different experience of it. Um, and this is coming from somebody who like had multiple different ways to like build connection, because I love friendship, I love interacting people, I love acquaintanceship. So it's like I saw it and like gave myself multiple tools, and I don't think I was consciously thinking of this, but it's like there are different like hacks and ways that we can learn to interact with people so that we have a bank of social interaction, so that we don't wake up one day and like we're just like fiending for friendship and like we haven't heard from our people in a while and it's like you're gonna scratch a wall. So it's like finding ways to like give yourself doses of social interaction that range in intimacy, and to have the forethought to like look ahead in your life and say like, hey, when's the last time I've had like this type of like interaction that is like meaningful, where I felt like I was really seen by somebody, where I felt like I had like a deeply intellectual conversation, a conversation with someone where I felt like I was understanding a new perspective. Like those are needs that we have. I'm not saying they're all of them, whatever, but like that shit that tends like to feel really nice and to help you feel like you're alive and grounded and like a part of something. And so if you kind of view it as like, you are the parent or the adult or like the person who's looking over yourself, just the same way as you might like look over somebody you were tasked to like babysit or nanny, or like if you're a parent, whatever, you're like thinking ahead for that child of like, what does this person need across these different avenues of life, and that should include mental stimulation, of course, right? And it's the same with yourself, mental and social stimulation, and like looking ahead in different areas of your life. And I think because we are so caught up in like work, and I was talking to an immigrant from Italy about this a little while back, and she was like talking about like the loss of like the social group coming from Italy to like the United States, and like trying and like feeling like she's failing and like creating friendships here. And so we were like talking about friendship in general, and we were also talking about like the aspects of American culture that work against the creation of friendships in a lot of ways, especially when most people are working class or working poor, or impoverished, whatever you want to call it. So much of our life revolves around work and survival. And I think looking up and realizing like where the people, and like sometimes we only look up for our people, and this is not an accusation, but like again, I'm reflecting on this person's video and thinking about these themes. And I think sometimes when we look up and we like really need our friends, it's like it doesn't always have to be like you're in crisis, right? But you realize like, oh, I really like want to spend time with this person, and we put a lot of like emotional weight on like these few interactions that the other person might not know we're putting the emotional weight on, because for a certain period of time in the friendship, like it was okay or understood that something might come up where you might have to cancel, or sometimes they're hard and you don't get back to the person in like a certain amount of time. There's some leeway that exists in those like friendships and acquaintanceships, that like when shit is already hard and like the empire is empiring, especially with the increased intensity that it is today, it's like, yeah, there are tanks that you have that you might not realize are running on low because you're so focused on like the other ones. And then when you reach out to get that friendship, social interaction like tank filled, and it's like the people that you're used to having that with aren't there, that's just hard. Obviously, like it's hard. And I just had so much like, I was in my feels listening to this person, and I was thinking, I was like, it reminded me too, I was talking to somebody a few months ago, and they were talking about how annoying it is when they're like, they work in like a cashier, like salesperson, like customer, like front facing job. And they were talking about how annoying it is when customers want to like linger and have like extra like unnecessary conversation. And I was thinking, I was like, do you really mean that though? Because I was like, if you went through your whole like, and obviously like there's different like truths to it, whatever, but like if you went through your whole day and like nobody said an extra word beside like thank you, yes, like that would feel kind of trippy and odd. And I also think about too, I think of like the exchange of it too, because I'm assigned female at birth, and if I have the privilege of aging, I will be an older person who's assigned female at birth and black, like walking around this world. It's like they don't be trying to pay attention to us, like listen to us, prioritize us. The way American society treats older women is batshit. Like it's just is very scary out there. So I'm like, and older people in general, like the ways in which we just don't support them, we fuck them over. It's like so many people are lonely and isolated. It's like I don't mind having a little extra conversation with somebody, knowing that in different stages of my life, I might be like, yeah, I just needed someone to talk to me like I was a person instead of someone who has money for like just a second. Otherwise, I was gonna cry or like explode. You know what I mean? It's like we rely on each other for this interaction, and it keeps us alive. So, like, learning how to seeking it out in advance, like finding different ways to, honor the people you interact with and like their personhood. I feel like that's really important. That's really important. And like giving yourself some grace when it doesn't go as smoothly, and just saying, okay, that means I get to try again because I must, because we're all trying again, because we're all seeking each other and finding each other. We are each other, and that's just like the truth of it, you know what I mean? So try again. If like something awkward happens with your friends, maybe not those specific people, but keep trying.